Hello, my dear students. Let's have our lesson for today. It's about the composition of function. What is a composite function or composition of function? A composite function is generally a function that is written inside another function. Composition of a function is done by substituting one function into another function. So in this lesson, we are going to substitute a function into another function. Okay? So for example, we have f of g of x is the composite function of f of x and g of x. The composite function of f of g of x is read as f of g of x. The function g of x is called an inner function. Okay, so the f of g of x, the g of x here is called an inner function. And the function f of x is called an outer function. Okay, so in the function f of g of x, the g of x is the inner function and the f of x is the outer function. Hence, we can also read f of g of x as the function g is the inner function of the outer function f. Okay, you can also read as that. So how are we going to solve composite functions? Or how to solve composite functions? Solving a composite function means finding the composition of two functions. Okay, so we use a small circle like this one for the composition of a function. Okay, so we have here the steps on how to solve a composite function. Number one, or the first one step is you are going to rewrite the composition in a different form. So for example, you are given f composed with g of x. So that is equivalent to, you can write as f of g of x, just like this one. F composed with g of x squared. So that is equivalent to the f of g of x squared, wherein the g of x squared is the inner function of the f of x. Okay, the second one, after writing the composition in a different form, you are going to substitute the variable x that is in the outside function with the inside function. Okay, the x in the outside function, so kung ano yung x in the outside function, you are going to substitute with the inside function. So what is the value of the inside function? The inside function, for example, is the g of x. So the x in the f of x, you are going to substitute it with the value of the g of x. Okay, so next is simplify the function. Okay, take note. The order in the composition of a function is important because the f composed with g of x is not the same as g composed with f of x. Okay, so take note of that, class. So we have here some examples. Example number one. Let f of x is equivalent to 2x plus 1. Okay, the first function here is f of x is 2x plus 1. And the g of x, our second function, is g of x is equivalent to x squared minus 2x plus 2. Again, the g of x is x squared minus 2x plus 2. Now, what are we going to do? You're going to find the number one question here is, or number one problem is, find the f composed with g of x. Okay, so f of g of x. So what are we going to do? Okay, let's rewrite this one. So we have f of g of x is equivalent to f of g of x. Okay, so the inner function, the x in the f of x, or the x is replaced by the g of x. And that is equivalent to, of course, our f of x is 2x plus 1, right? So the x in the f of x, we are going to replace this one with the value of g of x. So that's why, since our f of x is 2x plus 1, that is equivalent to 2 times our x was replaced by g of x, then plus 1. Okay, so then what is the value of g of x? That is equivalent to 2 times our g of x value is x squared minus 2x plus 2. That's why here in the next line we have 2 times the value of g of x, which is x squared minus 2x plus 2, that is inside the parenthesis, plus 1. So what are we going to do here? Use the distributive property to remove the parenthesis. Okay, that is 2 times x squared, that is 2x squared. Next is we have 2 times negative 2x, we have negative 4x. The next is 2 times 2, that is positive 4. Again, the first one is 2 times x squared, that's why we have 2x squared. Next is 2 times negative 2x, we have negative 4x. 2 times positive 2, that is positive 4. Okay, always remember the sign of our term that is on the left side of our term, or the plus minus sign before our coefficient or our variables. So that is the sign of our term. And then do not forget here, we still have plus 1. Okay, then we are going to simplify this by combining like terms. So we have 2x squared, so minus 4x. Okay, the similar terms here is only 4 and 1. So they are both constant, so we can add them. 4 plus 1 is 5. Now our solution is 2x squared minus 4x plus 5. So that is how are you going to solve for the composition of function. So replace the x in the outer function by the value of the inner function. So here the f, instead of f of x, that is f of g of x. So what is the value of the g of x? So replace that in the function and then solve. And that's why we have here the 2x squared minus 4x plus 5. Now let's move on to number 2 solution. So find the g of f. Take note, the first one is f of g of x. The second is g of f of x. So they are different. Now in the g of f of x, so we will use first the outer function here is the g of x. Okay, so we have the g of x is the outer function and the inner function is the f of x. So we are going to replace the x in the g of x. So these are the x in the g of x by the value of the f of x. So that's why we have here g of f of x is equivalent to the first one. Since the g of x is x squared minus 2x plus 2, so all of the x values in the g of x will be replaced by the f of x. So that's why we have here, instead of x squared, that is f of x raised to 2. Then negative 2x becomes negative 2 times the f of x, and then plus 2. Okay? Then substitute what is the value of the f of x. Our f of x is 2x plus 1. So lahat ng f of x dyan, here, will be replaced by 2x plus 1. So we have 2x plus 1 raised to 2. This is for the f of x raised to 2. 2x plus 1, this is the value of f of x, raised to 2, minus 2 times the value of f of x, which is 2x plus 1. Okay? Then we still have positive 2 here. So you have the first is the f of x. This is the value of f of x raised to 2 minus 2 times 2x plus 1 here, the value of f of x, and then plus 2. Then apply FOIL method, the first term, outer term, inner term, and the last term. So we have here the square of 2x plus 1. So meaning 2x plus 1 times 2x plus 1. Okay, the first term is 2x times 2x, we have 4x squared plus 2x times 1, that is 2x times 2, we have 4x, and the last term is 1. So this is now the product of 2x plus 1 raised to 2 minus, okay, this is minus 4x, then 2 times 1 is positive 2, and then we have positive 2. Now let's remove the parentheses. We have 4x squared plus 4x plus 1. So since this is minus or negative, so what will happen? So the sign will be changed now. So that is negative 4x, okay, negative times positive 4x, we have negative 4x. The negative of positive 2, we have negative 2. And then do not forget the 2 or positive 2 in the last term. Now let's simplify by combining like terms, the similar terms. So you have 4x squared. There is no more 4x squared over here. So we will just copy the 4x squared. Plus we have positive 4x and negative 4x. So this is equivalent to 0. If we're going to add 4x and negative 4x, that is equivalent to 0. And we also have negative 2 and positive 2. So we have negative 2 and positive 2, that is also equal to 0. That's why our answer now is 4x squared plus 1. So that is how are we going to solve for the composition of function. Now let's move on to example number 2. Okay, you can try to solve this one. Given the functions f of x is equivalent to x squared plus 6 and the g of x which is equal to 2x minus 1. Okay, our f of x, the first function is x squared plus 6 and the g of x is equivalent to 2x minus 1. So find the f of g of x. Okay, I will give you 30 seconds to solve this problem. Time starts now. Your time is up. Let us check if you got the correct answer. Okay, the given function is f of x is equivalent to x squared plus 6 and the g of x is equivalent to 2x minus 1. So we're going to find the f of g of x. For our solution, so we're going to substitute x with 2x minus 1 in the function f of x is equal to x squared plus 6. So lahat ng x dito sa f of x, papalitan natin ng value ng g of x which is 2x minus 1. So we have f of g of x is equivalent to, so we just rewrite this in another form. We have f of g of x, wherein the g of x is the inner function and the f of x is in the outer function. Now replace all the x in the f of x with the value of g of x. Since f of x is x squared plus 6, yung x squared dito, yung x dito, papalitan natin ng value ng g of x. So that's why we have here, instead of writing x raised to 2, we have 2x minus 1 raised to 2. That is the value of our g of x, the 2x minus 1. So ito na yung g of x natin. So yung x sa f of x, pinalitan natin itong x lang. So that's why we have 2x minus 1. Then since yung x dito is raised to 2, kukopyahin lang natin. So 2x minus 1 raised to 2 plus 6. So after this one, we're going to multiply. or get the product of 2x minus 1 raised to 2. That is 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 1. So if you can still remember the FOIL method, the first term, the product of the first term, outer term, inner term, and the last term. So we are going to apply that on this problem. So you have 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 1. So the first term is the product of the first term, which is 2x times 2x. We have 4x squared. Next is the outer term. We have 2x times negative 1. We have negative 2x. Then the inner term, which is negative 1 times 2x, we have negative 2x. And for the last term, take note, we have negative 1 times another negative 1. Okay, the product of two negatives that makes positive 1. Okay, so the 4x squared minus 2x plus 1. This is now the product of 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 1. Then, do not forget we still have here the last term, which is positive 6. So, you'll just copy this one. Now, let's remove the parentheses. We have, and then simplify. So, you have 4x squared. Here, we have 4x squared. Then the negative 2x and negative 2x, that is equivalent to negative 4x. So you have two negative 2x. So if you are going to combine that together, you will get negative 4x. And then for the last term, we have positive 1. And then we still have another one, which is positive 6. Now let us simplify our answer. You have 4x squared, negative 4x. Then we have the constant 1 and 6. We can combine this together. We have positive 7. Now the solution is 4x squared minus 4x plus 7. Now let's try another example. Given the functions g of x is equivalent to 2x minus 1 and f of x is equivalent to x squared plus x. So find the g composed with f of x. Okay, so we'll give you another 30 seconds for this problem. Time starts now. Your time is up. Let us check if you got a correct answer. Okay, for our solution, given the functions g of x is equivalent to 2x minus 1 and our f of x is x squared plus 6. So find the g composed with f of x. Okay, for our solution now we have the g composed with f of x is also can be written as the g of f of x. So we substitute x with x squared plus 6 in the function. G of x is equivalent to 2x minus 1. Okay, so the x in g of x function, so yung x dito, we are going to substitute it with the value of the f of x, which is x squared plus 6. So instead of writing here x, so yung isulat natin is the value of f of x, which is x squared plus 6. So that's why we have now our g of x, which is 2x minus 1. Our x will be replaced by the value of the f of x, which is x squared plus 6. So we have 2 times the value of f of x, which is x squared plus 6. Then we have minus 1. Okay, so this is our positive 2. And then our x was replaced by x squared plus 6 because that is the value of our f of x. And then we still have negative 1. So the next step we're going to do is to use the distributive property to remove the parentheses. Now we have here 2 times x squared. We have 2x squared. Then the next is 2 times positive 6. We have positive 12. And for the last term, we have negative 1. Just copy the last term, which is negative 1. Okay, let's simplify by combining like terms. We have 2x squared plus, so we have positive 12 and negative 1 that makes positive 11. So this is now our solution. 2x squared plus 11. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have learned something for today. Keep safe, everyone.